Hello and welcome back to this part 13 of modelling a Mustang on Fusion 360. So I want to begin by saying Happy New Year, start to a new decade. Hopefully it can be good for everyone watching. In my last video, in the description, I think I posted that over the Christmas period I'd try and post a video every 1 to 3 days, and that just completely tailed off. I think my last video was before Christmas, so yeah, long time. But it was just a lot busier than I anticipated, and so well, I had a nice Christmas period anyway. Right, so here I'm looking at this screen pillar at the front, and you can see clearly it's very very wavy. Well, you could see more clear. Yeah, you see there, very yeah, undulating. The reason why that is because the sketch, the extrude for the windscreen is actually taken from a different plane. So from the front plane, this windscreen works. It looks right. But the problem is on the side view, it looks wrong, and from the top view, it looks wrong, and it creates a lot of problems for me. The thing is, I almost just ignored this and thought, you know what, I shouldn't bother to fix this. I've been modelling for, I don't know, 3 hours at this point, 4 hours, and I could just stop and take a break, but I wanted to finish it all in a day. And the problem with not having like a decent break is you start to go just a bit mad. You know, you start making very poor decisions, well, at least when it comes to modelling on CAD. So I was trying to fix this by extruding from the right hand side, extruding some cuts or extruding some add-ons, and just, well, basically wasting a lot of time. The reason why it's happening is because the sculpted body that I've created of the car, the actual like car body, on that front pillar, it has a slight bit of undulation, and it's not that clear unless you have a windscreen and the side windows on there to show you how much it undulates. And kind of the main reason is, as I've said before, this isn't like a perfect model. It's my kind of estimate of how this shape is, and I could go back into the sculpt workspace and change that front pillar to try and make it less wavy. But the problem is, I will be tinkering for hours, or at least like 45 minutes to get it perfect, and I'm not looking to create a perfect model. I'm just trying to create a fairly accurate model. Obviously, I don't want this weird waviness, because that's too far away from what the real shape looks like. But I don't need it to be perfect, so there's no point me going back into the sculpt workspace. So I'm just going to try and edit this by sketches. So that's kind of where I'm headed with this. Yeah, it's I think another problem is when you're modeling through the sculpt workspace, I don't want to say you get fed up with it, but because it's such a kind of what's the word? It's so fluid. It doesn't feel engineered at all. You kind of just mess these shapes up. Like, every time I come back to look at this model, I notice a new thing wrong with it, and like I'm really pleased with how it came out. For 6 hours work, I'm like really like chuffed, but I just don't want people to watch this video and then think I've come this far and now I can't do the windscreen right, because there are better ways of doing this. I actually was on a forum today, talking about this project and talking about like the windscreen and how other people do it, and a guy on the Fusion forum showed me a really fantastic way of doing a windscreen. So at the end of the series, as long as I remember to do it, I will model a windscreen to show you the best way to do it, because what he showed me was fantastic, really smart way of doing it. And yeah, I wish I'd have known like the way he did it when I was doing it. So yeah. What I will also say in this video is I made a lot of mistakes with these sketches. I tried a lot of failed attempts. There's in I don't know, 30 seconds or so, or 20 seconds, there's a cut basically that skips forward, and it skips forward 20 minutes. So there are 20 minutes of me just making an absolute fool of what I was working on. So yeah, here it is. Yeah, cutting forward 20 minutes because I've just been an absolute idiot about it. So what I tried later on was I started sketching from the top rather than from the front. This worked more successfully. So those curves on the top and bottom, they'd taken me, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes to get right. And then what I did there was I offsetted the window of the side, thinking that it would be the exact same. So you see from the top, it looks nice, and from the front it looks okay, but then when you come to the right hand side, you can see it kicks out too far. So I know at this point like I'm kind of on the right track. Well, I thought I did. So let's just cut a minute ahead, actually 2 minutes ahead to here, where I tried another failed attempt. Like I said, it was a real trial and error project for me. So back on this sketch, the one that I found, a short while ago, that was close. It wasn't perfect, but it was as close as I'd come to creating the shape I wanted. So now I've changed that curve to a straight line, but what I found was when it's extruded from the side, you still get this curve. So then I thought, why don't I do a fit point spline and go completely freehand basically with it? No particular shape. I just wanted something that works from that side angle a bit better. So I used the fit point spline, and I drew 2 points in the middle. So one there, and then connected it up to the top corner. And those 2 points in the middle are editable. So what I can do is I can just drag those points and look back and look from the side and then from the front and from the top until I'm happy with the shape I'm kind of until I reach a shape I'm happy with. So you see here, just minor editing. This isn't at all the way you would do it in industry. Completely different, but like I said, it's just an artistic model. I just kind of wanted to create this shape, but here you can see from the side it looks a lot better, a lot closer to that curve. So I'm like really chuffed, kind of after well, no, not chuffed, relieved. After the 20 minutes of just fiddling about, that I finally found an approach to that. Well, it's starting to work. So one thing by sketching this way is now from the top view down, it's a little bit wavy, the windscreen. But the thing is, from the side and the front, it works. It looks like a straighter line. So I didn't mind that from the top view it wasn't perfect, because how often am I going to be looking at this car from the top down? Like people, if you take a photo of a car, you take it from the side, you take it from the front, you take it from like kind of a perspective view on like a front corner. You don't take it from top down. So that was kind of my thinking here. If I keep rotating it, keep moving those points. So here you can see that line much more closely follows the image. So like at this point, I was just kind of excited to almost be done with this windscreen. Yeah, this was a real time consuming thing. I think it's just when you work on a project for a long period of time in a day, you know, it really just taxes your brain. So perhaps you might, following these tutorials, you might find that you don't get annoyed or frustrated and you manage to get the windscreen right first time round. But you are following a tutorial. When you're trying to make one, it's a bit different. So yeah, looks a lot better. Looks a lot better. So you can see here, it's not like a perfectly straight from the top, but I at this point I don't care about it at all. Not that I don't care about the model. I do care about the model. I just want to be over with this section. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to drag the windscreen down from this top perspective, so that when I look at it from the side, it more closely follows the bottom of the windscreen. I know it was a bit of a bit confusing if you're listening, but see how I've dragged that further like down in the sketch. Now that where my mouse is hovering over, the sketch is now lower, which is closer to the image in the canvas. So yeah, I want to do that again, because again it's still got to come down, and the windscreen at the bottom, it has kind of a weird kind of curve to it, so I'm not quite done with it. Yeah, you can also tell, like from looking from this top view, that it follows the shape of the sculpted model a lot better, which is a good sign. A good sign that it's following, a good sign that it's going to be accurate. So now you can see there's that kind of weird curve at the bottom on the windscreen. So what I want to do, rather than just dragging all the points, I just want to individually edit the points, and just try and get this to work. I think in my first video, I can't remember if it was in the description, I estimated that this series would probably have about 16 videos. Judging by where I am going through my kind of files, I feel like it's probably going to be somewhere closer to 20. Perhaps it might be 16. There are some more kind of episodes where I'm going to be cutting out huge segments where I've just been, you know, having an absolute mare trying to do something. But I do think the series will be a little bit longer than I originally anticipated. But there's not much left to do. Hopefully, if I can cut it down, I can try and keep it closer to that 16. But yeah, potentially going to be more. So here I've just mirrored the windscreen and the side windows across. Notice this little section in the middle. That tells me that the sketch didn't align with the kind of the mid plane of the car. So what I try and do here is a bit stupid. I try and click and drag the points. What you can do is click on a point, that point there, hold shift, and then in the constraints dialog, click the horizontal vertical tool, and then select the origin, you know, the XYZ like base point, and basically that would align it for me. As I've said in earlier videos, like looking back on this, there are things I do in this that I just wasn't aware of the tools at the time, or I was aware of them but I wasn't using them as frequently. So sometimes I watch this back and think, you know, what were you doing? But I'm just telling you how I'd have changed it now. So yeah, I wouldn't have clicked and dragged like I did. I would have just used the constraints tools. There we go. So now that's in the center. Stop sketch. We have a windscreen. Successful. Anyway, I think that's about it for this video. Sorry it wasn't too descriptive. I just wanted to kind of show you accurately how I was doing it. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope the start to New Year's going to be good. All right, take care.